It is 9:30 on a Thursday night, and you're tuned into Beltway Radio and Beyond with the one and only thing. This is Tip Chat. Hey, welcome to Tip Chat, everybody. I'm good for you, Des.
You just told them. There it is.
There you go. I still have to look at the wall.
Yeah.
I was studying it hard. So transitions are difficult.
Yeah, transitions are difficult.
Sometimes you go along with it, and other times, you attack democracy.
Like we do on the show.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, so this is a special edition of Chip Chat, as they mostly seem to be.
We only do SEs.
That's right. This week we have returning guests.
Yes, we do.
Including one that I also correctly predicted some. I don't want to say musical stardom because he was already kind of famous, but like a hit.
Okay.
I predicted there was going to be a hit.
As you usually do.
As I do. I think I checked earlier.
How many likes are we at?
I think
we need to have a like counter. You know what? We need to have a like counter that shows up.
It's views, sir. And
likes.
It's at 95,000 is the last time I looked. So I did star in that music video. Yeah. Which shows
starred in the music video.
Which shows that I have good taste, which is what I'm getting to, that our guests this week are also meeting with some success as of late, as I predicted. Kount Fif and Empuls are going to be here a little later. Also this week, Trump's lawyers need lawyers. And it got worse today. We didn't even have time to process that. Grand jury report in Fulton County. That's next week's show.
Yeah, the billable hours cup runs over.
They say crime doesn't pay, but man, it does for the lawyers.
God.
Look at these guys. Hey. There's only one guy doing all the criming, and he's the one that never pays. Who's paying for all these guys?
Good question.
Those donors.
Yeah.
The people who bought the NFTs.
Who cares? Once the debt ceiling crashes,
right.
No one will pay. Money will be worthless.
Whatever. Okay. Also, this week I have to do a thing where I have to be both, compassionate and express love for both Ohio and Michigan State.
I logged in and I was like, "Wow,
it's growth."
Yeah,
you've had a positive impact.
I feel like the algorithms are pushing positivity. I logged in and it was like go blue and what was it? Go green.
Go blue, go green.
Yeah, I saw that was like the first thing that popped up. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Even I had to. So we'll get to that. It's going to be, let's say, a packed show. It's a lot going on. So yeah, you got a word? I got a word. I just got it though. And it's not a great product. I don't think I can sell much of it.
Hopefully I say the word right. Yeah.
Okay. Sit back, grab some
unanimity.
It's positivity time. You're listening to the best show, the only show on Beltway Radio and on. And beyond, I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
All
right, so you might want to just sit back and relax.
I'm going to sit back and just listen.
We all know that on this show and in real life, I say some pretty awful things about both Sparty and Ohio.
Nasty.
Yeah, it's safe to say I've said some awful stuff. I often lump the entire group of people from those places or states in when I'm talking about that, which at its core, that's stupid because this is just a college sports rivalry.
Yeah.
you know,
he really feels that way about Mississippi. I'm trying to change him.
no, that's not a sports rivalry.
I know, but you just feel that way about them.
About 60% of Mississippi.
Okay, fair.
The 40%, no.
That's
Okay. Anyway, I'm meaning to say this to establish my credentials that this is hard for me as, you know, reflexively to do, but I'm not a terrible person.
no.
I'm close.
Semi-pro at being terrible.
There you go. So I'm wearing all my Michigan stuff to say this with as much big blue Michigan representation as possible. I'm about to say these two things. To the people of East Lansing and the students, faculty, staff of Michigan State, we love you and we support you. We feel like you deserve that win on the messed up punt. No, I can't finish that sentence. But it was a dark day for us. The shooting, though, that you just experienced has torn the entire Mitten State apart, and we will be there to help in any way that we can. So tonight, it is Go Green.
Go Green.
Yeah. And that's especially for, well, J. Scott Smith, friend of the shows.
Yes.
Sparty guy. So, okay. This one's a bit harder. So. To the people of Ohio, a state that I often have very little to say about that isn't loaded with invective. The train explosion and environmental crisis you are now experiencing is not even yet fully understood, but will leave the state scarred and damaged for generations. The people of Ohio did nothing to deserve what has happened to them. They will need our love, guidance, and support for 100 years or more as a result. So tonight I say to them, we love you and we want to help you, and we're really sorry about what's going on over there.
Terrible stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the first thing is this thing about the train. Let's talk about this train.
Oh, God.
So this train crash is right at the Pennsylvania-Ohio border. It's operated by Norfolk Southern, or it's on their tracks. It's a Conrail thing. It's a whole complicated. We don't have time.
If we have the time to go into the weaving between the railroad monopoly,
it's semi-monopoly.
Yeah, so
there's three companies.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, regulated companies.
Right. Yeah.
Suffice it to say, the railroads could be a complicated, many episode story.
Yes,
but I did find this interesting article that sort of summarized what happened there from The Guardian, and it's, for them, unusually punchy. It's just like a list of like individual sentences of things that you need to know.
And continue on, I'll get to it.
The train was carrying vinyl chloride. If you're somebody who does air conditioning or works with plastics, you know what this is. This is the precursor for Teflon, and also for all of the CFCs and refrigerants and all this other kind of stuff. It's also where chloroform comes. It's like, but it's stupidly flammable. All right, it was carrying that, and if this stuff gets burnt, turns into phosgene gas, which was a chemical weapon in World War I, and is a thing that all air conditioning men like myself are terrified of, because if we strike the torch and hit the CFCs, and it's near instant, you'll collapse with your torch still on, and it's terrible. I've smelt it once. It's not good. Okay, so this thing is burning and it's creating phosgene gas. Yeah. Other really key points. By one estimate, 25 million Americans live within an oil train blast zone. And had the derailment occurred just a few miles east, it would have burned downtown Pittsburgh. This isn't like, and if you live in DC, you see the trains run right through the middle of the city.
On my way to the studio tonight, I saw one of these trains. I see them often,
and I hear the whistles all night where I live.
They're, and also too, it feels like and also I would assume there's a boom of trains moving more of this material since the pandemic and having those issues with like the ports.
It's not just that. It's that because of the pipeline issues that there's lots more oil and gas on trains.
A lot of I see, and the one that's carrying it. It's a
it looks like a tank, and it's got like all the warnings and skull and crossbones on it. There's a lot of like sulfuric acid that gets because that's how they got to move it.
This is happening a lot. They're on the move.
And in a general sense, the feeling amongst most people, myself included, was, until I read this article, that rail travel for freight is really safe because you never hear about.
Maybe it was.
Apparently, that is not the case.
It's not.
Ineffective oversight in a largely self-monitoring industry that has cut the nation's rail workforce to the bone in recent years. And it puts up record profits over safety. They put profits over safety, but they are putting record profits up. They're responsible for the wreck, said the Amtrak locomotive engineer and a former worker on the Norfolk Southern, which is who owns the tracks. The East Palestine, because it's Palestine when it's in America, apparently, wreck is the tip of the iceberg and a red flag. Mixing metaphors. Good job. He's the secretary of the Railroad Workers Union. That's a mouthful.
Jesus Christ.
All right. So it's a nonprofit labor group that coordinates with the nation's rail unions. Quote, if something is not done, then it's going to get worse, and the next derailment could be cataclysmic. In fact, there was one in Michigan this afternoon.
All right.
There's a lot of chemicals on these things, and they have these derailments all the time because they have cut all of their workers.
We can go back to a show that we did in December, December 1st. We talked about this with the railroad strike, and it's again
how dangerous this could be.
And it's not specifically the same, but this still kind of falls into this whole like the precision scheduling railroading and this whole idea, and not even just in railroads, across industry. What we have seen is corporations to fund the investors, right, and to fund the stock prices of
to
this
make
stuff,
stock buybacks,
to
so
make
that the people who already have the stock
God
more
gracious.
money into some value. It's fake
to
value.
do this, they said, fuck everything.
Right.
And what we'll do is we're gonna slash jobs. We're gonna run on minimal. Again, why folks couldn't get their sick days, because they're like, no, we'll pay you more. We're not gonna give you any time off, because again, they're rather cut corners, cut costs, anything to again.
But they didn't do it the way that, like, if you remember in the 90s, that it was all this like downsizing.
Right.
What they did was they convinced the population writ large that this sort of just-in-time idea applied across staffing and goods and fuel and everything else is a good business plan, and that we have the technology to make it not a problem. We can innovate our way into this. This is what we've always wanted. Everything we've always had was just slack trying to achieve this. That's what they convinced us all.
You can't innovate having people walk the railroad, checking the actual tracks, doing maintenance on the actual engine itself, the train engine.
The lack of maintenance on everything in this country is appalling.
It is, and it does.
Bridges,
this is another one.
dams.
Again, everything is on like. Again, this is a house of cards.
What was our infrastructure bill? How much was it? It was $1 trillion. Triple it.
Right?
Like, we're so fucked.
Whether it's Southwest, whether it's everything is on shaky and like precarious,
60-year-old technology.
Yeah, it's bound to have issues. And again,
the 911 system went down in Alexandria this last week.
Unacceptable.
Yeah.
That's just simple and plain. It's just unacceptable. And again, the way this story kind of trickled out also didn't feel like the enormity of the story felt like this should be running 24/7.
I can't believe I had to go look for this.
Yeah,
it's not even on the front page of the paper. Like, this is a not story.
And when other incidents like this have happened, I forgot where I heard this at, but like the cancer rates in those specific areas, like quadruples.
Well, they already called this a super fund. They've already went and tagged it to the super fund. So they're going to, but they can't be out there telling everybody that they're categorizing it super fund and also telling everybody that it's safe to drink the water and it's safe to breathe the air.
No.
And I know what they're doing, and I'm not going to be one of these conspiracy idiots or whatever. No. But their interest is in being.
It's always what it is.
It's not just the interest in like keeping things calm or whatever. They have to stay technically correct.
Yes.
Or all of the rules and regulations mean nothing.
Right.
So if the regulation says it's got to be this ppm or this ppb or whatever, like the concentration is, in order for it to be labeled harmful, they can't fudge that number.
And that doesn't mean that it's not harmful.
It doesn't mean that it's not harmful below that.
Exactly.
It's that's what the regulation says. would all of the scientists and all the people monitoring this, would they all, like, as a human being, admit that this is not safe? Yes. But the regulations have to stand, because then you're going to get in some other situation where somebody tries to do it intentionally and say, look, we're within the regulation, but you guys fudged it, so that's not even real. And then,
and again, this is a country for the corporation, by the corporation. Like, it is that simple.
And half of another thing here is that half of the country is trying to make excuses for the disaster while also blaming the Biden administration for allowing it to happen. They're trying to tell everybody that
the trains aren't socialized. Like, it's not a social, like these trains, it's not that. We don't own the trains.
Well, we kind of own the tracks.
We own the kind of, but again,
we kind of rent the tracks.
Yes, it's not like.
But the rail workers who could have been the ones to prevent this are not nationalized. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. So it's just really unfortunate, because things like this really shouldn't happen in this country.
JD Vance was on telling everybody that
EPA
should be focused on the clean air and the clean water, but they're so busy fighting environmental racism that they can't help the people of Ohio. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, this is all this.
I'm unfamiliar with the specific locations of these areas, but I would venture to guess that it's either I venture to guess that poor people are more
100%. They're on the tracks. That's who lives on the tracks.
Obviously, right.
Yeah, within any proximity of the tracks is always going to be. Yeah. That's what they do. That's why the railroads are where they're at. In a lot of, I mean, some cases they have to follow like the natural topography or whatever.
Yeah, right.
You know? And then it's along a river. The people live along the river. Like, oh, okay, I get that. No, like when they need to put a railroad through someplace, they find a poor place and they put that railroad through.
Yeah, just like they do the roads.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Because who's going to fight them in court?
Yeah.
How many Aaron Brockoviches are there? Not enough.
Not enough.
It's interesting here. These are a few more points to this, but like there was a rule change regarding the shipping of liquefied natural gas, LNG, that basically reduced some of the regulations and said they could use, less good brakes on their cars and all that stuff. That was a Trump regulation. Biden hasn't gotten rid of it. They could just discretion it away. Executive order. They didn't do that.
No. I mean, you wonder sometimes if some of these things, like, I don't know, if they keeping them on, it's serving their administration in some way.
But
that's not an oversight.
No.
Yeah,
no.
Exactly. It's
because.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. It's not
it might be where they kind of like feeling it both ways and they're picking one side or the other
right.
But
there's a lot of decisions that need to be made. I get it.
It is. Rail companies laid off more than 20,000 workers during a period between 2018 and 2019. 20,000 in a year?
That's insane.
How many were there? The nation's rail force has dipped below 200,000, the lowest level ever, and down from 1 million at its peak. Now, I grant you, we probably didn't need 1 million once we had like computers and stuff. But that's 10%. What safety thing do you think you can cut by 10%? I'll make your seatbelts 10% less effective.
No, you can do it, but you're gonna have this outcome every time.
Why would you do it?
I mean, it's like the train's gonna start coming again.
Because they've got a stranglehold on it. That's why.
What do we
Norfolk Southern's not gonna pay for this.
What do we ask government to just make sure
the trains run on time?
Now we just want them to run on the track.
Yeah,
we just want them to stay on the track. Right. Like I don't even. They can be late. It seems like you guys have figured out having them run on time. They could be a little late if they would run on the track. Stay on the track. That's insane.
Whether it's the Metro or
whichever one it is, keep the trains on the tracks.
Like, we know what the gauge of the rail is, don't we? Like, that hasn't changed since Roman times.
Yes.
Literally, the gauge of railways is because that was the width of the ruts in the Roman roads. That's where that number comes from.
It's very, again, the sad part of this, like, We're laughing, but it's like
These
people
people
have
have
cancer.
a mushroom cloud of
What was
cancer
it called?
descending on them.
What was it? The blast zone?
Yeah, the blast zone, but also
the derailment blast zone. We're using terms now
like
that we
do
use
in Hiroshima.
Exactly. Or Chernobyl.
As a matter of fact, that was one of the things that it might have been in this article that they compared the power of explosives of one of these trains to how much like megatons.
What if it took out Pittsburgh?
It could have.
What if it did?
It was very close to that.
What would people have to say?
Well, Tomlin didn't have a playoff season, so I guess there's just no point.
But didn't he still
had a winning season.
Still had a winning season. Insane. I don't know how many seasons.
Imagine being that good that the expectations are that, and then you don't hit it. And they're like, well, I guess he's done. Jesus.
Oh my God. Side note. Oh, I just got full immersed into football on Super Bowl Sunday.
Because it was two black quarterbacks, or because it was Mahomes in particular?
Mahomes in particular, but I found it to where I called out the motion play. I was like, watch the motion. I was like,
you're back.
I was fully back. only for one night only. I was fully back in. I was you
were noticing like slot changes, and you're like, yo, it's a cover two.
And I'm calling people. I'm saying right now, the only way they win this game, they need 2 defensive touchdowns, 1 defensive touchdown, and a special teams touchdown. What happened? They didn't get a special team touchdown. Might as well have been. Oh my God, it felt good.
It did. See
all those crazy catches. Some of those catches that
that Juju had in the second half.
Yes, but who's it? Who's the Eagles quarterback? Is it Hurts? Hurts. Oh my God. Yeah, he's really good. Oh my.
Not as good as Patty.
Not as good as Mahomes. Oh, but yeah. Sorry, I just had to. I indulged fully on the American pastime, which is the real pastime. Sorry, baseball.
All right.
It's not that.
Good job. That's a good palate cleanser from all the death in Ohio. So
they love football. I love football.
That's true.
See, there you go. Clip it.
Let's go to a place that they love football now. They sort of mostly love basketball. Izzo country, East Lansing, Sparty. So there's 50,000 kids who go to Sparty, which is a lot. It's more than it's a whole city, and it's more than go to Michigan. So they're the bigger school in terms of people. The campus is huge. It's several zip codes. This thing is mad. Anyway, this dude, Anthony Dwayne McCray. Why do they always have 3 names? Or it's just the only time you hear anybody's middle name? That's exactly
right. They're throwing every name out there.
Got it. 43-year-old had mental health issues. He ran in there with 2 9mm and shot a bunch of people. Killed 3. Shot 5 or so others and scared the hell out of the entire state. And this guy, he had a lot of ammo with him, and apparently he had some list of other grievances or something. But when the cops confronted him, he shot himself, and that was how that went down.
I don't know. What do you want to go?
You want to know what the story here is? That one of the kids there had already lived through a mass shooting in her high school.
Parkland. One of the kids from Parkland was
but there was another one also from a local Michigan. God. Yeah. So
right, of course, because it's not
the kids are so used to these mass shootings that they're like counting them like merit badges. And I don't know what to say about this guy shouldn't have been able to legally purchase a gun. He did legally purchase both of the guns. He had all kinds of issues that the state knew about and various other, but because of the way the gun laws are written in all these places, that didn't stop him.
What am I?
Can I?
Brian,
yeah, please go. Let me collect mine and figure out what.
Yes, yeah. I'll give you time. I don't know if you been following this story about Ed Reed being let go by Betham Cookman over conditions over there.
Well, he got let go from there.
Yeah, he got let go there after 3 days after being hired, so to speak. Because of the fact that he filmed,
because he technically wasn't hired yet when it happened.
He wasn't hired, but he was officially hired in a sense, but by name only. But anyway, the point was when he was going through the campus and filming what was going on there, and he saw like there it's supposed to be, the place is supposed to be gated, but there's a hole in the gate. This kind of reminds me, this is the situation I feel fear for things like that. It's like, how did this guy get on campus?
It's an open campus.
I understand that. But the thing is, to me, it's like, you got to have some checks and balances somewhere. Because I go through Maryland, I do see checkpoints at Maryland. I do see them. I haven't been.
Yeah, but you can walk around. You can walk around College Park.
I know you can walk around. I know you can, easily walk around. But I know there's checkpoints.
I mean, look at GW. I mean, it's like the campus is the middle of the city. Like,
True.
It doesn't have any gates.
What my point of what I'm saying is for a guy like this guy, who full well does not belong there.
How would you know? He's a 43-year-old dude with a bald head. I mean, he could work there. He could, be visiting his kid. Like, how would you know?
Yeah, I think these mass shootings are becoming so frequent that I think all of us are, in a sense, searching for answers.
Yeah, we're looking for anything.
Here's the perfect.
There's no answer.
Get rid of the goddamn guns.
Because
the true answer is what. Either they do it statewide or they do it federally. It's one or the other.
Well, it has to be federal.
No, it has to be state, I think.
Initially,
I think it has to be the state. It has to be.
Because here's the thing.
The unelected 9 already said it, right? They said we can't do anything about it.
Right.
I understand that that's the case, but you end up with the system that we have now, this patchwork. So like, and it just leads to this dumb comparisons. Oh, well, Chicago banned guns, but look at all, because it's right next to fucking Indiana.
Come on now.
It doesn't have any rules. And then for all the years, they would be like, well, DC and Maryland banned guns. It's right next to Virginia. Until like 3 years ago, we didn't have any rules either.
Right.
And all this stuff, the only states that could have any benefit of like passing statewide laws are ones that are huge geographically, so that the like ability of people to easily cross a border into a neighboring gun friendly state is nixed.
That there to me is the problem. It is just like, look, if one state blocks it, they can easily go to
but those next states,
firecrackers. It's like Maryland banned firecrackers for I don't know why.
So you just go to PA.
They go to PA, or they can go to Virginia and buy truckload and bring them back. So it's like, hey, we can.
So that's why you need national policy. The problem is this patchwork just makes this event, and it doesn't even matter. The guy legally bought the guns.
Of course, yes.
That is all part and parcel of the same thing. Is it like, why would somebody with the record that he had and the
state would control
the
that?
The state
should control that.
It should control that, but there are barriers set up to prevent the information sharing that would result in that, because the way that the NRA reads every bill that gets like proposed in every state house, and they're looking for things that could be a backdoor into like responsible gun laws. And if they see it, they nix it. They go out, they buy their reps, and they nix it.
That's the other thing. That's where I feel is like, look, if they fully concerned about the well-being of any citizen,
they're not,
and which I know they're not. Okay, highly, it is like Congress. Congress in general, both Senate and the House side, really got to fight that off. But unfortunately, based off of today's society and the knuckleheads that are already sitting in the House, we ain't gonna get shit.
We're not gonna get anything.
So it's the filibuster is simple place.
It's not even just that. It's like every like the fight over whether you're even allowed to study the number of gun deaths.
Well, they changed the CDC. They finally changed.
They finally changed that, but it could roll back if a Republican takes the executive.
But I do think
that is the problem.
I think the process on how. A few things here, and I think I'll table that. I want to focus in on the victims on this here.
Okay.
Because I think we're going to keep having the same exact conversation over and over again, and we know the barriers that are constructed to prevent us from passing basic gun law measures that majority of the country agrees
supports.
On.
Background
they support,
checks,
right? So I think we have Ariel Anderson, who's remembered as a straight A student, Alexandria Verner, 3-sport high school athlete, and Brian Frazier, who led his fraternity and was called a great friend. And I think I gotta find a way. Of the one guest I do want to get on here is John Woodward Cox from the Post, and because he talks very specifically about how we say, all right, well, these three folks were the ones who were killed. And right, we don't think about like it's not just those three who were killed with the ripple effect.
Because their
that
families
happens,
and
their
friends
families
and everybody.
and just how this changes people.
The chain trauma.
Yeah, exactly. It's a chain of trauma. And I think also too, like you have children. I have a child. It's something that I think of daily, right? And the trust that you kind of have to send your child off. It's very uncomfortable to talk about, but that you send your child off to a place where you're not there, that you've entrusted, in this case, a campus, in a school building,
a county,
wherever it might be,
a whole system,
the mall, wherever this might be, you've kind of entrusted, like, hey, you're going there, but like I don't really expect anything crazy.
Right, I think it's going to be fine. I expect it all to go.
Those days are gone. I was to choose specifically. Now, those days are gone.
The argument is going to be something else could have always happened. The building could have collapsed. Could have been a gas leak.
Yeah, exactly. What happened in Syria? Yes, that could have happened.
But this is a thing that didn't happen. This is not like an accident. None of this is an accident. No,
this wasn't the case.
This was not this.
And
people worried about other things, and they sent their kids to school. They did not worry that they were going to come home
a black eye.
Yeah.
A black eye.
Oh, my kid is going to go to school. The heat might quit or something.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh no, Swiss cheese of kindergartners.
And like, again, slaughtering people
the party of life.
45 seconds. Like
the party of life is the one that wants to keep on. And they're like, oh, well, we'll just harden the schools. You know that most of the shooters are people who are from within. So if you tell people where all the armor is or what to hide, they're just going to go there. Like, this is a dumb plan.
Here's the thing as well, too. Another thing that John speaks about is that the gun owners, they want this legislation passed. Like, they want it badly because they're like, yo, it makes us look kind of crazy. And I enjoy shooting guns. I see why people, and I see the community around it. And a lot of those folks who I speak to, they agree on having a safe. Yeah. They agree on like
that's why the Virginia bill that passed, where it's like a tax credit for doing gun safety, the NRA signed on to it. It was introduced by the Democrats.
I've been said that's the way, and I think that's how the states could win on this again, is using tax and giving these credits to folks.
It's such low-hanging fruit, but if that's how we got to do it, then let's do it.
I'm here for it because and this isn't the case here, but I think in the other case that happened in Michigan with the little boy, he got his, like, again, if that gun was locked up, and again,
and it happened in Virginia too. The 6-year-old shot the teacher,
and again. Nobody is coming to take your guns. That's not going to happen. And also, everybody who thinks your guns are going to protect you from the government, they have drones now.
Yeah.
All right? They don't come with muskets and horses anymore.
No.
All right? That's not how they show up.
They have tanks.
They have tanks that are going to run over your stupid-ass town.
I've got a 50 cal.
Exactly.
That's great, buddy. I've got depleted uranium armor.
All of this shit is mad in the head, to be honest. It doesn't even make any sense. But even then, they're like, no. We wrote this into our lovely little document, even
with a comma.
With a comma. Yo, I hate it all. But it's just tragic that you send eventually I'm going to send my child to college, and I hope that the generation that's in right now is so fucking upset about this, as it seems that they are, as they grow, that they're going on a full on.
I think that's only some of them. I think there's enough that are still not.
I just don't know. I have
part of their tribal identity.
It can be part of their tribal identity, but if you've been in a school where the lockdown had to happen, I don't know if that has to be scary as shit.
There have to be enough.
The fire drill was fun as fuck.
Yeah, I like fire drill.
I love everybody. I'm pretty sure we do a poll right now. Everyone's like, yo, the fire drill
get to go
super
outside.
Fucking fun.
Yeah, it's
everybody's
a good extra recess.
Extra recess, whatever. We're ducking and our knees covering. People are knocking on the fucking doors while doing this. That sounds like anxiety to a different level. If you didn't have it, you have it after that. So I don't know. This shit is really disheartening. And anybody like with children, but even past children, your spouse going on the metro, as we'll talk later tonight.
Going to work.
I mean, I don't know. Again, I like guns.
That's
I like
it.
shooting
Let's
guns.
all just quit. Go hide in the woods. Impulse got a lot of guns. He'll protect us. And
Hey, there we
we'll
go.
be fine.
Hey.
It's a good plan. All right. Speaking of which, here's what we're gonna do. We're way over time, so we're gonna put the rundown to the side for a minute, and we're gonna do our interview with our guests. So we're gonna take a. They're in the building.
Yes.
We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be talking to our guests, Kount Fif and Empuls. You're listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
Storming me like Normandy, normally the right shore. Fortified formation, formulating what you fighting for. Wasting your resources on a pride war. Life or death, stop my stride, sure. Try me, I'm a prize horse. Storming me like Normandy, normally the right shore. Fortified formation, formulating what you fighting for. Wasting your resources on a pride war. Life or death, stop my stride, sure. Try me, I'm a prize horse.
You can visit, welcome to the jungle, rumble, shooting biscuits. Spy on what you saw, to the law you become a zoo exhibit. Lying on the floor, cause you denied your right to bear arms. Tonight's the night you stare on, to the lights are bright and there's God. Look, don't feed the animals round here, no need for cannibals. The avenues will famish you, put you 6 feet and vanish you. I close one eye and I arose in the clothes of the pharaoh. But I ain't need no gold for the arrow. I pointed up to the clouds and the joint is up in my mouth. Anointed clubs in the south, enjoy this blunt with the crowd. The pot grower, the issue 3 pot voter. The issue me or issue not, cause I forgot stoner. The pistol beat with issue Glock from private stock loaner. Lock and loader, rock and roller, cheat on wifey, pocket phoner. Pop a boner for twice, but will not condone her. Her twat got that toxic odor, still knock if she got corona.
Storming me like Normandy, normally the right shore. Fortified formation, formulating what you fighting for. Wasting your resources on a pride war. Life or death, stop my stride, sure. Try me, I'm a prize horse. Storming me like Normandy, normally the right shore. Fortified formation, formulating what you fighting for. Wasting your resources on a pride war. Life or death, stop my stride, sure. Try me, I'm a prize horse. Time is precious, shiny metals and diamond testers. Mind affected by everything that I find electric. Grind is mechanized, standardized metric. Let you know a little secret of the glamorized method. So melodic, go robotic when the operation calls for such. Waiting for the flashing symbol signaled by the autumn dust. No middle ground sought, registered for all or bust. Because of malfunction when they stopped and taught me trust. A wall of dust and the remnants of a broken city. Passerby have to cry, longing stares, token pity. Soldiers sit patiently, any little smell of angst. Trophies come from patches, so we always make them yell their rank. Sell a saint, holy water in a ragged bottle. My character's a weapon, flash bravado, classic model. Mass amount of damage, manic motor, more than qualified. Oxen with velocity to leave incisions cauterized. Storming me like Normandy, normally the right shore. Fortified formation, formulating what you fighting for. Wasting your resources on a pride war. Life or death, stop my stride, sure. Try me, I'm a prize horse. Storming me like Normandy, normally the right shore. Fortified formation, formulating what you fighting for. Wasting your resources on a pride war. Life or death, stop my stride, sure. Try me, I'm a prize horse.
Ever since I first lifted off, I've been orbiting. I'm not the best, but I'm blessed to still perform and keep running around the race course where your horses be. Put your whole envelope on number 43. Took a pull from a pipe full of northern greens. Took my picture in the mirror for some normalcy. Took my shot, but I hit the popcorn machine. Took a sip of your soul, it tastes orangey. We made love while we was listening to Warren G. Regulate and take a look over your shoulder, please. Middle finger up for ICE and the border police. Middle of an iceberg is where my coordinates be. Where the days are shorter and the hornets freeze. I don't subscribe to the source of your sorcery. Got a lot of boundaries, blame it on the quarantine. I dedicate to stay away from fakes and the forgeries.
Storming me like Normandy, normally the right shore. Fortified formation, formulating what you fighting for. Wasting your resources on a pride war. Life or death, stop my stride, sure. Try me, I'm a prize.
All right, welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
What's popping out?
That was awesome. If you were watching, you got to see the video. If you're
Yes.
listening,
Very
go
dope
watch the video.
Very dope video.
Kount Fif and Empuls are part of a group of East Coast MCs that work under the record label Man Bites Dog Records, and they have some pretty measurable success, I would say.
Hell yeah.
Due mostly to appearing on this very show, of course.
Oh, I don't think that's the case, but okay.
Recently, both released new music, which we thought was a good enough reason to bring them back to hang out with us. Fif and Empuls, welcome back to Chip Chat.
Yo. Let's pop it out.
Gentlemen.
Peace.
That was all right. So, before we get to all these questions, you want to ask the question about the video?
Oh, you want to start right there?
Yeah, I want to see if I'm right.
Well, that's all you care about.
Yeah.
Right? Fellas, I see that the video's in the record store, Impulse. What is the record store? Where is that record store?
That was shot on location at Records and Rarities in was it Springfield?
That's my record store.
Yeah, there you go.
I know it. I knew it.
You called it. I asked the question, and
That's
during
where
the
I
break,
go to buy the records.
All right, there
That's
you
it.
go. You got it.
All right. Good job.
I believed you.
So let's start with some basic stuff. Y'all been releasing a lot of music between the two of you lately. I don't know how many albums that is in like the last year and a half, but when do you sleep?
Not much.
Is that your bed there, Impulse?
What's that?
Is that your bed right there?
Yeah, one of them.
All right. So Impulse, your new record, it's Astronaut Visions, which is it's a cool title. If you had the chance to blast off into space, would you take it? And if so, would you ride on one of Elon's rockets knowing that Tesla steering wheels just pop off?
That's a good question.
He's contemplating, maybe. I don't know.
Not fucking with space.
Yeah. He's playing close to the vest. Fif, what would you do? Would you go to space?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would do it on one of those Tesla rockets. I don't know. I mean, you know, it might be pretty dangerous, so probably not.
I'd do it.
So I know it would be like, you know,
that shit. I'm not going to fucking space.
I'm going
It's
like
already-
tomorrow. I don't
It's
care.
already crazy that we be flying in buses that go in the air. And
I
shit.
will take any opportunity.
I'm going to space now. I'm cool here.
I'll go. That's fine. I'll go punch God in the face for both of you.
Okay. You think you can find that in space?
Yeah, that's what they say. You know?
Okay.
Slip the surly bonds of gravity and punch God in the
That's what you
face.
gonna find in space. All right.
All right. Your new song, Word from Our Sponsors, it recently got a bit of attention from a friend of the show, Chuck D. How's that going for you?
it's great, man. You know, we got the single out. We pressed a limited amount of 7 inches for the single, and pushed.
Fast enough.
I'm sorry.
Was not fast enough to snag one.
Yeah, you got to be quick, man.
Yeah.
Be quick. It's limited. Like I said, I you know, I let everybody know it's very limited. Get them quick, you know. So, but yeah, they were gone. It came with a slip mat. It was cool. It's a cool little thing, man. They're you know, they're out there in the world. And if you got one, you're lucky.
Have you seen a lot more streams or a lot more hits on the websites and stuff as a result?
Yeah, because we decided as a group effort, you know, it's not my sole as in I've made videos and stuff talking about streaming and how I'm not really a big streaming fan. But you know, it was a group effort to make the decision to decide to stream the single, you know, and I've seen a big boost in streaming, you know, especially for the songs. We've gotten a lot of looks. Shout out to Rev. I mean, Rev, you know, he getting us a lot of looks, man. You know, we got a lot of looks, you know, Ear Milk, you know, with Chuck D. Shout out to Malcolm Riddle. So yeah, man. And you know, Chuck D plays a lot of Impulse's music as well too.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's been on this list a few times himself.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This is a common thing. So the label itself, let's just say, is fairly successful.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck supports a lot of the local DC, you know, artists. You know, there was other DC local peers on the list as well too. So it's dope, man. You know, there's a lot of talent out here, right?
Yeah, Priest is on that list too.
But Man Bites Dog, man, we hold it down. We got, you know.
That's the question where I want to go with it. Man Bites Dog. Tell me about this name. I fuck with the logo, but like, tell me about the name of this, because that's a real dope ass kind of like flip on that.
You look it up. It's a journalistic term, and then it's a movie. It's a movie. It's a French film about it's like a documentary of like a dude following a serial killer around. It's an old French film, so you know, look it up. But it's
journalism. It's like the way you describe a certain kind of a story. Oh, it's a man bites dog story. It's like something unexpected, but it's fluffy.
Right.
Nope. Yeah,
I mean, not that it's fluffy. You know what I mean? It's not like political news. Yeah. Okay. So, Empuls, your track that we just played requires that listeners know what Normandy is and that it was stormed in a war. Do you think that people nowadays have any idea what that is, and how do you get around that?
I'm not sure what people know. I don't really let that have any bearing on what I say or do, though. So,
I mean, it's a good rhyme.
If they don't know, then I guess, you know, the whole national celebration of the day kind of gets missed.
Do you think that? Yeah, right. D-Day. Do you think that your song might accidentally cause some people to do some damn reading?
I've been accused of that before.
Dope. I love it.
I like the idea that if you make a good enough rhyme that is about something obscure, people have to go look it up. But that I also don't like that. I'm worried that like that kind of history is obscure now.
Another question for both of y'all. Do y'all struggle? Because just going back to the question before, like Fif, you were saying like you don't really like fuck with the streaming, and I guess like also being a person who like prefers like analog. And,
I want to hold it.
Right. Like, do you ever struggle with like how you have to get the art form to people and where they at with it? Like, I feel like there's still a set of folks who do want to go ahead and pick up something that's physical, but it does feel like everybody else has kind of moved towards this, like, I just want to be able to log into whatever XYZ service and have it pop up. Do y'all struggle at all with that? Like the balance in between doing it?
Not necessarily. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, there's a lot of artists. You know, look, I mean, I'm sure a lot of, you know, I mean, I don't know who your favorite artists are, but you know, if you're a fan of any kind of,
Price, I know that was in one of the rhymes I heard on one.
Yeah, there you go.
Take Sean
Good
Price. Question.
If you're a fan of any kind of independent artist, you know, we're all struggling. I don't care who you are. There's a lot of rappers that have second jobs, and there's a lot of, you know, artists out here that are not, you know, it is what it is. So you got to look at that kind of. That kind of, you know, you just got to look at that, and then you got to compare it to like, okay, yeah, you're getting looks on, you know, streams and whatnot, and people are finding you and whatnot, but you're not seeing money from the streams at all, you know, and obviously, you know, it's the whole goal is not just about money, obviously, but we've been doing this for a really long time, man. We've, you know, there's
you deserve to be paid for your craft.
Our art is not, you know, there's people that get paid hundreds of dollars for their prints.
Yes.
Okay. Prints. This is prints of art. They may drew it one time and then they print it up and sell it 100 times. I can't make a beat one time and then sell it 100 times for $100 a piece.
Right.
Like, why is, you know, I mean, like at the same time, you know, it's just music as an art is valued way less in the dollar form. And I don't think that's fair. There's a lot of high art out there. Music is high art.
Yeah,
it changes. You know, I ain't got to explain it. You know what I mean?
I mean, you don't have to convince us or probably any of our listeners.
I don't have to explain it to anybody. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
This show tends to feature artists who are not on those, you know, giant systems or whatever, and that we're interested in their independent art. And
yeah, it's great. It's great. Let me tell you something. It's great if I can get people to find me and go to Bandcamp. Because look, the problem, the other disconnect with this is you can go to Bandcamp. I know it's another website or app or whatever, but you can go there and stream the music there for free. It also gives you, another platform to find other artists. So why do we used to go to the record stores and we used to dig for new music, find new music by digging. It's the same thing if you're doing it digitally. It's just, you're digitally digging. It's the same thing. So why not?
It gives you a good opportunity to support the artist by buying their physical stuff. You can buy the records, or you can buy merch and stuff.
Well, vinyl is the number one selling physical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and people buy the shit out of vinyl. I mean, your favorite underground hip hop artists are selling out in vinyl. I sold out in my physical units. So it's like, we're working on this
for it, for
goal.
sure.
I'm not saying we pressed a whole lot of units and we're, we're over here, but at the same time, it's about making, slow progress better than no progress and jumping it up. You got to, secure your core fans and supply those people that really support you. And you got to really support, show support back. It's about being a team, man. We're trying to be a team over here. And if we all support each other, then we can all, go a lot further.
Speaking of supporting, we want to make sure everybody knows where they can get your records, how they can follow you, find out. I know that there's upcoming shows. Sometimes y'all are doing a lot of live stuff, or you were like a month or two ago. I have children. I don't get to go watch live music anymore. But, so how can people follow you? How can they get your information and all that stuff? Empuls, what's a good way to get you?
EMPULS. Yeah, there you go.
Well, there's listeners who don't have video.
EMPULS. Pretty much everywhere. That's I put on a couple of shows every month locally. A spot called Tarbenders. I'm pretty much anti-DSP myself, so all my music goes on Bandcamp or somebody's Bandcamp. I got a bunch of different groups that I work with as well. But yeah, I'm very much anti-DSP myself. I think that's literally the noose around the neck of music.
Could not agree more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That immediate access means you don't have to earn it. You don't have to be concerned with it. You don't have to care anymore. There's no liner notes. There's no need for nothing. It's strictly consumer. It's microwave meals now. So
yeah, man. Exactly.
I still do merch. I was actually meant to wear one of my shirts tonight, but I just didn't do it. But I still.
All right. We're going to point everybody the links and all that stuff so that they know where they can go get the merch too. Cause you want to have cool stuff.
Yeah. We always have some sort of merch just because we're from that era as well.
Card table and some t-shirts and hoodies.
Basically.
Yeah.
Basically.
All right, Fif, where's a good place everybody can get your music and stuff? Bandcamp, we assume, but what's the Bandcamp?
Right. You can go to the, obviously at Kount Fif, KOUNTFIF. But all the music that comes out with Man Bites Dog is on the Man Bites Dog Bandcamp. We kind of consider it essential that all the releases come out on the label's page. You know what I mean? It gets the most traction for everybody, and it's a joint thing. You know what I mean? So,
right.
We've got music obviously on Spotify. The new single is out. You can stream it everywhere. So,
you can go watch the video, which I think we're gonna play on our way out.
I was gonna say we do have a video for word from our sponsor. Also, we've got 2 episodes of the podcast for Man Bites Dog Records podcast coming out as well soon too. So keep those out. They're gonna be on YouTube for now. They're on our Man Bites Dog YouTube channel. So
that's exciting. We got a lot of stuff.
There we go.
All right, fellas, we're gonna play the video while we go hit a break. We know it's a school night. Empuls looks like you got to get back to kicking ass and taking names. So we'll let you go back to pumping iron. Well, I don't know what they do in the gym. I don't care about that.
He's just taking every metaphor you can
I
find.
don't know.
Jesus Christ.
He's doing sports, but it doesn't involve a ball. That's the problem. I'm good on the sports ball. He's good on the things that aren't ball.
How do you know?
Because I know the guy. He doesn't do the sports ball.
On that note, I guess I'll have to take us out. You've been listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio BR. Thank y'all, brothers, man. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Always appreciate y'all.
Check one, motherfucking two. Hey. Check. And now a word from our Check. Look, this is for cops of 70s babies whose parents did drugs heavily, baby, but still cherish the love when it seemed crazy. Shit, I spit to the altar on Christ. It's like I've been possessed by the ghost of Sean Price. On mics, I put the pulsar on guys. Bought some Folgers flavored tube, anal lube that I hope your mom likes. John Travolta on nights of Saturday. Tell police bad data, they ran that away. Scattered, say put the gat away. The pod lord gets porn, the broad's board gets on. Host giving joy, go get 'em, boy. Foghorn Leghorn. Look, I do the voiceover for Morgan Freeman's life story. And torturing demons, my glory. Transformer more than meets the eye, Maury. Our Father writes stories like our arthritis is our author. Life stories type the scar readers from our horror. Get ripped apart in the dark by the monster. And now a word from our sponsor. And now a word from our sponsor. And now a word from our sponsor.
Cause I'm a 70s baby, born out of wedlock, an infant warlock, straight stone like a bedrock. And all these men are just cremated equal, lifeless people giving birth to a prequel. We're creatures like tarantulas with wings and ripping apart MCs like fucking string cheese. I'm not dead, cause I'm not done. I got 6 livers working together as one, but in the veil of good news, my eyes are cosmic, a karmic comic, sick liquid vomit. Humanity is like a broken record. It's one that I ignored till I explored the reward, because the music is hypodermic. Don't read the comments. Comparison culture kills positive content. Man, I'm strong, I'm tired of being wasted. I'll crack a tall can and laugh it in their faces. We got the tickets to the afterlife concert. One more encore, a word from our sponsor.
And now it works. And now it work from our sponsor. And now it work from our sponsor. And now it work from our sponsor. Now work from our sponsor.
Yep.
Our guest who just we finished
Dope
a
shit
cool
on both of
interview
those
with
songs.
both
Really
him
dope
and
shit.
Empuls. Yeah, go check it out. Man Bites Dog Records. Go basically anywhere you can find it, but go get it at Bandcamp.
Yes,
because that's
where,
the way to support real artists.
To be honest, what Bandcamp does is actually really dope. Actually,
It's a good way to do it. All right. Now we've come to the part of the show called The Rundown. This is where we're going to tell you about some stuff that's going on in the news. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. We mentioned earlier that Trump's lawyers need lawyers. Here's why.
Ugh.
You know that thing about attorney-client privilege?
Dude, we heard a lot about that.
Yeah, unless you're criming together. And in this case, it seems like the special counsel who's investigating Trump's handling of classified documents wants to talk to one of the lawyers.
If you're a lawyer for Trump, aren't you criming together?
Yeah, basically.
I mean, Michael Cohen showed us that, right?
Yeah, except now he did his time, and now he's out like spilling the beans on everybody. Yeah, all of them. All of them. All right, this one involves a guy called Evan Corcoran, Jack Smith, which is the most badass prosecutor name you've ever heard.
Yeah.
It's like Jack McCoy, but even smithier.
Jack Smith.
So he asked the judge to allow them to basically subpoena Evan Corcoran and compel some testimony out of him without having to give him the fifth or whatever, because he doesn't have no privilege. Why? You want to know why?
Tell me why.
Because he's involved in the crime.
Sucks.
And so attorney-client privilege doesn't matter just because one of the criminals is a lawyer.
Yeah.
You still was criming together, and all that conspiratorial conspiring. It's coming out, or he's gonna squeeze it out of him.
Null and void.
Yep. So, and the reason is because Christina Bobb, that was the other one. She was the lawyer who signed off on the thing about, oh no, we gave away all the documents. They're not even here anymore. Or whatever, that, signed the affidavit to the FBI.
He's not even the president anymore to help.
Why? I don't know.
Why would you go?
I don't know. I don't. Yeah, and he doesn't pay, which is another thing we're about to talk about. But
his friends.
Okay, so when Christina Bobb got kind of squeezed, she was like, "Yeah, Evan Corcoran told me to do it," and she put the finger on him, so he was criming. No privilege now, buddy.
Yo, see, this is funny because I seen this. How this happens with like little kids. There was a bunch of little kids, and they
mobsters,
were like
little kids, and Donald Trump.
Little kids were like, "Hey, you question me like, I didn't do it." It was like, "But your friend did it," and they'd be like, "That's not my friend."
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just throw him right under the bus.
Yo. What do you mean? I just seen you out there. You guys were playing together. No, that's not my friend.
Yeah.
No.
So speaking of that, these lawyers aren't going to get paid. Let's get also that this list includes Evan Corcoran's in this list too.
Oh God, double appearance.
Yep. 3-shirt Steve.
Hey,
Mr. Bannon.
Triple button up.
Yeah, I like this description of him here. The nativist American media personality who's backed by a Chinese billionaire. That's an excellent tagline.
Like, so he's a globalist, but he's
well,
he's not. He's bought by globalists.
By the Chinese. That's not what they mean by globalists.
No, but exactly.
But he's owned by the Chinese, and he makes millions of dollars while being a populist nativist.
It doesn't.
I don't know.
Look,
these people aren't serious. I don't know if this is new to you.
They're not serious.
Yeah.
Serious at frauding people.
Yeah, so he ran up these massive legal bills because remember he got arrested on the yacht of that Chinese billionaire.
Coast Guard?
Yep. No, this was the Postal Service.
Postal Service.
In their short shorts. Yep. The Postal Service and also the FBI, they helped. But
of course,
he's scrambling to find new attorneys as he's facing
everybody can't find
a looming trial over where he scammed all the people about building the wall. But it turns out he owes a lot of money to a lot of other lawyers that
over more than $100K.
Yeah, he owes significant sums of money to attorneys Evan Corcoran of Baltimore. Where have I heard that name before? And Robert Costello of New York City. They, along with David Schoen of Montgomery, Alabama. I like that lawyers are still known by like of whatever city. It's so like 1600s. From Montgomery, Alabama. He's the fairly orthodox Jewish guy who defended Trump in the impeachment and like covered his head when he drinking water, like I'm supposed to be doing, but I don't. Didn't know there were that many of us in Montgomery, Alabama.
Look, we all have that.
Looks
cousin.
like Dave got out.
That cousin.
Yeah, well, Dave got out of there, I guess.
Good.
Yeah, it's probably better.
Yeah, to be honest,
safer for all.
I was just gonna say. You think you're friends until they're not.
No, they're not. Stephen Miller.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's gonna be so bad for him. It's gonna be so bad when it's.
At one point, late last summer, Bannon owed Costello more than $100K, according to a source directly familiar with his unpaid bills. I mean, the dude is like, I don't know how he's getting. Why are these people getting representation?
Look.
They have a right.
Do have a right.
They should have representation.
Right. Yes, I believe
I'm just
that.
wondering why they have expensive representation.
Yeah,
from people who theoretically have reputations and careers that they want to preserve. Because these guys are going to be gone eventually. You're not going to be able to make a living defending Trumpistas for forever. They're either going to all end up eventually in jail, or they'll Darwin themselves, and then it'll be fine. But like. The cottage industry is going to dry up.
Just to get on the DeSantis train for them?
Meatball. Apparently. Meatball DeSantis.
Hey, you know what that rhymes with?
No. Street ball?
I saw it hit you. I saw it. I was like...
All right, speaking of street balls, Matt Gaetz.
Oh my!
Yes. All right, this is gonna be a little weird. I'm just gonna read this news story. When members of the House Judiciary Committee convened for their first meeting of the year last week, the new Republican majority instituted a change in procedure. Before every hearing, everyone in the room would recite the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
The honor of leading the first pledge, the very first one, was given to Corey Beekman, a U.S. Army National Guard combat veteran who traveled to Capitol Hill at the invitation of his congressman, one Mr. Matt Gaetz.
Okay.
So far, it sounds pretty red-blooded American,
You know,
patriotic, and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
It sounds very like this is what I guess people
Pomp
in
and
What
circumstance.
people do in Congress do. That's what they
Right. You know,
Yeah.
naming post offices or whatever. Quote, it is my pleasure and distinct honor to introduce to the committee Staff Sergeant Corey Ryan Beekman, an American hero and a constituent of mine residing in Pensacola, Florida. The best part of
do.
Florida.
I love that.
Gaetz, that was Gates's quote. I should have read it in a more whiny voice, but anyway, he praised Beekman's 16 years of military service, his Purple Heart,
Right.
and his position on the board of a local gun club.
Of course.
I mean, sure. So far, so good, though. No
Yeah,
big
it's
deal.
Florida.
This
Yeah.
shouldn't be on Chip Chat. Why
What
would
are
I
we
be
talking
talking
what
about
are
that?
you talking about this for?
For Gaetz, you know, he's a perfect symbol. He's working out well. But there was one thing that Gaetz didn't mention in his glowing introduction. This is all according to the Daily Beast. Beekman is an accused murderer yet to face his day in court. In 2019, he allegedly shot and killed 33-year-old Billy Buchanan inside a home in rural Mason County, Michigan, go blue, and was arrested by police after a lengthy standoff. You know, it's not like it's a mistaken identity issue. He was later charged with murder, but his case is still pending, hasn't yet gone to trial, and he's moved to Florida. You know,
It's a different country.
Buchanan's family, for them,
Gonna have
the
to
pain of
extradite him.
losing Billy has been compounded by the failure of his case to be resolved in court, and it was compounded even further by seeing his alleged killer appear in full military dress as an honored guest on Capitol Hill. Quote, it was like getting a dagger stuck in our heart again, said his mother. We are infuriated when we first saw it, said Billy's niece. I was disgusted by the whole thing. After seeing that this was the case, the family reached that he got to do the pledge.
Yeah.
They reached out to Gates's office, the Buchanan family, and was like, hey, buddy, whoa. In a statement to the Daily Beast, Gaetz apologized to the Buchanan family
That's new.
and his decision to invite Beekman. He said it, quote, caused some unintended consequences.
It's got to be better words.
He acknowledged that he was unaware of the man's history before inviting him to Congress. The family of Billy Buchanan brought the situation to my attention. I'm glad they did. After hearing from the Buchanans, Gaetz sent them a flag that flew over the Capitol. That's what Congress people do when they meet another human.
Is there like a list that the congressman got to get on, like when they take the where
Yeah, every day they fly a new
flag,
flag,
blue flag
over
up?
the-
And I'm
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
like, where are you on the list? Like, hey, I'm 33rd to get a flag from
Yeah, or they have like specific days that they want that are like significant to them or whatever. Yeah, it all sort of works out. There's dozens of flags.
There's so many flags.
It's not a-
I was over there the other day.
Yeah.
I watched
Anyway,
Arsenal get their ass smoked on the fucking Capitol on my phone.
yeah, that's
I
true.
literally, I watched that right there.
Yeah, that's all right. You're still going to be top of the league and they kick City out. Might save us from relegation too. Maybe they only got to bust down 19 and 20.
All right, back to what we were
Anyway, Gaetz said he was sorry and he sent his condolences. And he said he was sorry for the pain that he caused, which is also a first for Matt Gaetz. Hannah Buchanan told the Daily Beast that the family appreciated the gesture, adding the Gaetz chief of staff had called her directly and was very apologetic.
He has a chief of staff. How the fuck did this happen?
He's
There's
apparently
there's a chief of staff. How did this happen?
the chief of staff failed at his job.
If you have a staff, that's what I'm like. Does he have the
Google.
staff? Does he have
Google.
does he have the same staff as the railroad people? That's not a staff. There's no staff there. Like what is,
We learned from Twitter actually 2 weeks ago, and this is an unconfirmed rumor, that Mr. Gaetz and his chief of staff are a little closer than just work partners.
oh God.
And that remember, because he adopted that 19-year-old boy that was his like adopted son. I'm not saying this is true, but there is a rumor going around the hill that Mr. Gaetz is a little grabby with the fellas. including his chief of staff. Unsubstantiated. Came from a blue check
Also,
mark.
too,
Doesn't mean anything anymore.
When he killed 33-year-old Billy Buchanan, is Billy Buchanan black, white? What is he?
It's hard to know.
I don't know. That's
that
hard
name
one.
is Buchanan's Irish, but it
Yeah.
could be anything. I don't know. I'm gonna guess he's white.
I'm gonna guess he's white.
Yeah, because it's in the story.
Yeah.
Why else if he
Yeah, exactly.
kill a
That would be
black
clear.
guy?
Right. It would be it. So again, everybody kills.
That's
people
true.
They're close to.
What?
Everybody.
You mean
knows.
people mostly know the
Yeah, they usually kill. So
and
all
also
the black
all the
on
other
black crime and all the
Isn't most crime committed
Hispanic,
by people
Hispanic
who know
crime.
each other?
No, there's white on white crime. Too.
There is?
Did you not see January 6th?
Oh, Mike Pence. You know he's legislative branch now.
What?
That's his defense against the subpoena that they want to know about what happened on January 6th while he was
Oh,
presiding
no, 'cause
over
he's
the Senate. So anything that he did or said that day is protected under speech and debate because he's in the Senate.
Yo, no. That's no. First of all, that's the argument you make back when the vice president was picked separately off. Like that's the argument you
It's
make.
not
back
only
then.
that, he made the opposite argument that he couldn't be subpoenaed by the January 6th
because
committee
you're in the legislature.
because he's executive branch and separation of powers precludes that, and it needs to be
Wow.
executive privilege.
Both sides. of
So
his
he's
tail
managed
neck.
to, yeah. Well,
Talking out of
he'll
both
declare
sides.
himself a Supreme Court justice next week. Who knows?
Okay. This is
The fly knows.
they're fine.
You know who knows? Mother.
Man,
That's who you subpoena. Mother, do you recall the day that the mob tried to hang your husband? Yes, I do. And did your husband's boss tell them to do that? Oh, yes, very much he did. Yes. No further questions. You know who wants Trump's testimony? The Proud Boys. This actually came out this afternoon before we were able to get this into the print.
Which ones? The ones in Florida?
No.
The ones that run the Miami. The
Your
Republicans?
cousin Enrique
Oh gosh, yeah.
and his buddies are on.
He's legit in Afro-Cuban.
Yes, he is.
It's very.
You're
this is
probably
nothing-
related.
This is nothing. Nothing hurt. The only thing that hurt more was Lee Malvo being Jamaican.
Right.
That is the only one. That one still stings so much.
All right. So the Proud Boys, including cousin Enrique, are making the case in court that they didn't do the stuff on January 6th. Well, that they did it, but that they were told to do it by Donald Trump. And they're making the case that they want to call him as a witness in their defense to say, nah, we didn't do it. He told us to do it, so it's okay.
Oh, so they think they're going to get him to come on. Okay.
Well, yeah, right.
Yeah, you think you're going to be the
It's
one.
that thing with the little kids again.
Yeah.
They made a motion in court to say that the government needed to subpoena Trump on their behalf because at the time that he did the thing where he ordered them to do the stuff, he was in the government and therefore he's the government's
Now
responsibility.
y'all
as
want
a
help
witness.
from the government?
They want help from the government to subpoena the former president to come and absolve them of doing the thing that he told them to
This
do.
is the crazy thing about this wild ass place that we live in. Everybody thinks like, oh, we're gonna go against this and they're taking our freedoms and all this type of stuff.
Look at how much freedom these guys had.
But when it gets
They're
down
using
to
the
it,
court
when it
system
gets
for this
down
shit.
to it, everybody goes and screams and yells for the government and the Constitution to get everything they want
That's
done.
right.
And it's just so ass backwards. Like I don't know. Good God.
They're anti-government, but they're also the party of law and order.
Yeah.
But the police is the Gestapo now, or the
Yeah.
FBI.
FBI is the
Yeah. Trump had a good time on the truths. It's.
I'm literally starting to lose it.
I
don't
like
even
the
get
idea that he has like his own like fake Twitter where he just shouts
No,
at
of
nobody.
course he does.
Yeah.
No, not to nobody, to some folks.
He still spells everything wrong.
You know what though? I bet that runs better than the actual Twitter.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. You want to talk about?
I bet that. Well, we're doing.
It's not in there, but
no. Yes. Oh, about him being upset at Biden. And, yeah. We'll do a quick test talk on that part there. 44, not million,
no, billion
dollars.
And he fired 80% of the staff.
Fired 80% of the staff for a private company. So you're not even doing hum beholder,
Right.
stockholders.
Nope.
Also, you could go and tell somebody, I want my tweet to be the highest one.
You could. But he's not, and he's losing Twitter fights to other people.
Yeah.
And he's blocking people.
Yeah. Look here. I've never seen this shit ever show up on mine, except if someone retweets him.
Yeah, but I have seen my Twitter turn into a right-wing wasteland. and it's I thought it was because it's like I yell back at Ted Cruz. Yeah. I stopped doing it for a while just to see what would happen. It didn't change it. It's still like that's just all there is. I can't even search for it.
I see nice stuff on mine now. The limited amount of time I go on there, I seen your nice tweet to extending a
tag you.
Yeah, to hand to the Michigan State vote. I see, I go on and I just give book recommendations.
Do you read the Twitter while you're on the Metro?
Fuck no, I'm paying attention to what the fuck's going on the Metro.
Because why?
Because you know why? Look, the Metro, I'm not gonna say it's not safe, but you probably should keep your head on a swivel. That's what I'm gonna
This
say.
is not the way we used to. This is the way New Yorkers and people from Chicago talk about their subway, but this was never the way that people in DC talk. People would take naps on the Metro. They read the paper. Like they'd be face covered by the paper.
Let me tell you there's been a few times in like coming out of like Anacostia Station where I have fell asleep and ended up at West Hyattsville and ended up at Greenbelt. Now, this is when I was in high school a long time ago. But like, again, and this is like on a Saturday night, like late, back when Metro ran till 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
But now I stand up, I make sure my back is towards and again, it's because the reasons that I see are that a lot of folks is on drugs. No, a lot. As I sit on Metro, I be looking like, yo, fuck, motherfuckers are on drugs.
Well, we've been through that.
Yeah,
we've seen that movie here in DC.
But here's the thing I'll say though, it felt like the crackheads was a little more in control of what was going on. Like some of them would be geeking out. Folks now
it's not the same stuff.
It just seems like they were functional drug addicts back then. Now people just seem to be in a different world, nodding off. I bring all it to say is that Metro has now said we're gonna go and pay the DC police overtime to start having patrols. And
they have their own police, by the way.
Yeah, the
Metro
police.
Transit Police.
Yeah.
They already exist.
Yeah,
they're congressionally chartered.
Right.
Tri-jurisdictional.
But yeah, they feel, and it's so difficult because after the Super Bowl, when we left, we were driving home and we were talking with someone I ride the Metro a lot. And the person I was talking to, they ride the Metro a lot, and they're a lot older than me, and they've been around. And we were both having the same conversation that people just seem a little bugged out on the train. And it's a big, I guess for me, it's hard to say, like, I get why they're adding more police because people are afraid. I
but
get
interesting statistic. Statistics don't reliably prove that an increased police presence on a subway or transit system deters crime.
Does it?
In New York City, for example, Mayor Eric Adams, who himself was a cop, added 1,000 more police officers to the city subway system to curb crime and give riders a sense of constant police presence.
Let's talk about that latter part that you just said.
But the addition of officers did little to curb crime rates. According to Bloomberg, murders and assaults increased, as have arrests for more low-level crimes like fare evasion. So it's doing both things. It's not improving the dangerous situation, and it is increased police presence. Occupation, I think, is probably a better word for it, because they're now slapping people with these criminal records for what? Jumping a fare?
Yeah, I mean, you're
going to carry that on your record because you wanted $4.80
only
worth
in
of a
Virginia
ride?
and Maryland, though. But even now, it's like straight to fines on there. But in New York, that is not the case.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, in New York, that's not the case. And like in their transit, in their police and how they operate, I think specifically within their transit,
you know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, it's an illegal tax. This one here, I don't think it's necessarily, it's not difficult, but when it comes to crime, it's never about facts. It's about feelings.
It's always about feelings.
It's just about feelings and people's perception of that. I never look at the police and think that they make me safe.
I never see them coming and go, oh, thank God.
Jesus Christ, here they are.
No, I get nervous and scared.
Christ.
Yeah.
And I don't even go to, I would still put more faith there.
Me too, and I'm Jewish.
Yeah, right, exactly. I would put it like right. So I don't look at it that way, but it's hard with whoever it might be. If you're like a lot of folks, like again, a lot of folks who are like the elderly, I see that they use Metro. People are afraid, and I guess I don't want to trivialize that. But the facts, what they bear out is that
putting more cops there ain't gonna make any difference. Except that a bunch of people are now gonna get charged with minor shit.
Yeah, and like here's my thing, right? If you choose to do this, you want to go down this route here, like, can they be like kind of how like the marshals are on the plane, like regular ass,
just so, be like, there quietly, not
quietly reading a book or some shit or doing something like innocuous, like to the point where you're not like, because there was a time on Metro specifically after 9/11 where the transit was coming on there full on machine
tactical
guns,
tactical
gear, and it's like that's where the occupation comes on.
That's what it feels like, but also like that the low level enforcement increases, like that isn't making anybody safer.
No.
That's not the thing. And as a matter of fact, it might long-term be making things more dangerous because now you've put people in a situation where they can't get jobs because they got this stuff on their record.
Right.
And
that cycle continues on.
And it's a certain class of people, let's be honest. And it's a certain group even within that class that they're going to be more likely to enforce this on. So it all seems to me like we'll increase the drug supply to increase the crime. We'll respond to the crime with increased police presence. We'll use our increased police presence to increase low-level enforcement, which will disenfranchise whole categories of people. And it's going to cost us nothing because the taxpayers are going to actually ask for us to do it.
Yeah,
ready, go.
And Bowser says this here in the article, says, quote, "We know that residents and visitors want to see a strong police presence in our community, and that's what this partnership will allow us to provide."
Where?
Quote,
on the mall, maybe.
When police are in the community, people feel safer, and our officers can respond faster. Hundreds of thousands of people use Metro. Respond faster. I have a gripe with that shit.
The Metro ain't a fast way to get around.
But even in general of like the police responding faster, I've seen
you've watched
enough evidence where they do not do that.
They did respond quick on January 6th in MPD.
Yes, but
they were the heroes that time.
That was because it was the only option.
Time. Right.
The only option left. People were crying for help. I think.
Yeah.
And who was getting affected? Their comrades.
Yeah, of course. They were going to defend other cops.
Yeah. So I get that one. I think like, and here goes the funny thing here with MPD, which they're gonna scream, and rightfully so, they're gonna say, well, no one wanted to sign the bill to give us no more cops, and now where do you think these cops are gonna show up from? Where do you think we're gonna where
are we gonna pay all this? They're paying overtime. They said they're paying overtime.
And
they ain't but so much overtime. Eventually, you run the force down. They get tired. They make mistakes. Yeah. What happens when one of these overtime cops working a double ends up shooting a civilian or a kid? It's going to be something on the Metro. It's going to happen. It's going to be, and then what are we going to be talking about? Oh, it's too much police presence. We're just swinging this pendulum around, and we all know what this is, though. That's the problem. That it's obvious what this is. Yeah, okay, an increased police presence on the mall, sure, that does affect the tourists. It makes people from Nebraska feel safe. Whatever.
And they'll spend more money and whatnot. Yeah, I'm with it.
Increasing the police presence up towards Glenmont. What exactly is that going to do?
I know exactly what that's going to do.
Yeah, but it ain't going to affect no tourists.
No.
Are there a lot of tourists going to the Brentwood rail yard?
But the argument's going to be is that when you get to Glenmont, if you feel that it's unsafe, and the thing is so tough for me because I don't feel unsafe on the Metro. I also understand that
I feel unsafe when the cops are around
with
big guns and itchy trigger fingers. And especially when I can see in their eyes that they are fucking nervous.
Yeah, and I
don't like that.
Yeah, but another person is gonna say I feel unsafe when there's look, the Metro be wild sometimes. There be groups of fucking kids smoking got like it has to be. It just has to be. So
I also
don't know.
think there's a way out of it.
Yeah.
Like there's other solutions. There is talking to people. I mean, I can't tell you like how many times I've had somebody tell me, "Oh, well, I walked past so and so, and he was busy doing whatever, and he didn't respond to me, and I need you to go talk to him." And I'm like, you could have just talked to him.
Maybe as simple as a person walking through the trains and just be like, "Good morning, good afternoon, how's everybody doing? Any question?" And because I take that even so
That
much from
slightly
working
past middle-aged guy on the block who walks around doing that has an impact.
Yeah, and I even take that so much from retail, because retail, they say like a lot of times with like the crime that would happen there, quote unquote, would be shoplifting. One way you would deter somebody from doing something is
Look them in the eye,
looking them in the eye. Hey, how you doing? Like, right, and you could do that, and you could almost guise that in a different way.
It does also actually work.
It does work.
Addressing people as people builds that trust. It builds that oxytocin. It is a societal thing. There's a reason we have words like "good morning."
You might have spoke that person off the edge and be like, "You know what? I'm tripping out. I'm not about to go and
this guy said good morning, changed my day." There's also a reason why in a lot of cultures the greeting word is peace.
Yes.
You know, because
start there.
The act of greeting somebody is an act of peace.
Yeah.
And it just makes people better.
Very few human beings want to go and murder each other. That's just not how
we would not have beaten the saber-toothed tigers again. Like, we are at our core, in our DNA, cooperative.
That's simple.
This idea that people are self-interested is bullshit. All the self-interested people got eaten already.
Yeah.
Those giant fucking birds that ate horses, they ate people too.
Look here. Talk to your fellow human being. You might be able to talk to them.
Look at these dead ass birds. Right. Speaking of things that should get eaten by birds.
Oh, God.
Tucker.
Yeah.
All right. So we like to think that we're pretty good at trolling Tucker. We've got a lot of, Joy's better. She's got the Tuckems thing that's going pretty well for her. We've got Tucker, and him with the, jacking off to the M&Ms or whatever. We are nowhere near as good as the good folks at Mars, because this whole thing, they okey-doked us about the M&Ms thing, was a giant troll of Tucker. Now, we figured out that, like, okay, why would they take away the M&Ms? Because it's a Super Bowl ad.
I saw this commercial. I didn't hear it, though.
So it's got her talking about try my new Mayas instead of M&Ms. Now, we're gonna play. We can play the commercial. Brian's gonna play us the commercial, so you can hear it. If you're listening at home, you'll just have to imagine what the visuals here are. Here we go.
Bite-sized candies filled with clams. Taste the ocean plus some sand. With mine yards.
Chewy, chunky clams.
La, 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 la,
Mine yards. Candy-coated clam bites. You want one?
with mine yards.
Even she doesn't want
You're
it.
supposed to say yes.
And then the red M&M in the back with the help sign.
Wow.
So we got it that, like, the purpose of this was to make us watch the Super Bowl. We were on, but like, I did not realize that they were going to go that far into making the whole thing as flop as possible, like as awful as possible.
Yeah.
To like make a point that, like, being mad that the green M&M got different shoes is not cool, man. Tucker, you fucking suck.
But it's good for ratings on Fox News.
I don't even know about that,
I
man,
think
because
so.
like, I bet you this whoosh, like, right over the head, like, they're not even going to care. Tucker's still going to be mad about the M&M. But like, what I'm trying to figure out is, is like Meatball going to respond by being like, M&M's is woke, we're going to ban M&M's from Florida? Like, how far does this go? You go after people's M&M's, they're going to get a little touchy.
Look, I can't wait to cover 2024.
There are states that are.
We ain't even talking about the person who just entered the race. There's some. We didn't even bring that.
Nikki Haley?
Yeah, we didn't.
Don't
bring
worry,
that.
she'll be out of it in a week or two.
You know what I'm calling?
What?
DeSantis Haley ticket at the end.
Yeah, that's what she's
It's gonna
for.
happen.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen.
But it's unelectable.
There's gonna be a white woman on this ticket, no matter.
She's
what.
not though.
Well, yes,
She's
not.
half.
She's half.
But they don't want to talk about it. Well, they do want to talk about that when they talk about that for a hot second, but not about that. No. Okay, so the point here is that M&M's went out of their way, spent a lot of money on the ad campaign, and including a Super Bowl ad to basically say getting mad at us for it being inclusive is stupid. Kudos. 100%. And I know Kudos, different candy bar.
Yes. But they had
but I
M&Ms
think it's
in
made by.
I think maybe it's made by. I'm pretty sure it's made by Mars.
I think
I'm
so.
more than certain you're right.
You're the candy bar expert.
Yeah, I love some candy bars.
But way to go, M&M's. Big fan. All right, this one's called "Forget About It." You ever drive up north? Go to New Jersey?
I like people from there.
You like people from there. It's hard to do that, but it's true. Some people do.
My Guinea Mike Tirico blood,
Yeah, right. Who are you not related to? You check too many boxes.
It's really bad.
I got nothing.
Look,
just all of comedy.
I'm a world mutt.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
I think we call that human.
Yeah.
It's like normal. I think it's normal.
Look, I like all the mixtures.
Yeah. So anyway, New Jersey, though. Let's not mix New Jersey into anything. It's dangerous. New Jersey's a place with a lot of roads and a lot of signs.
A lot of signs.
Because they've got a million of these parkways and turnpikes and God knows what else. So all these signs, a lot of them are technically paid for by the federal government, so they own them. But they're administered by the state departments of transportation. Transportation departments. I don't know. Is it attorneys general? Something
around there.
Okay. So the states, they like to put funny things or like cheeky things on the signs, like watch out for reindeer. It's Christmas, because otherwise you drive past these things and you've seen the same message on there for so long, you just ignore it. You don't see it. So the states are like, oh, well, we'll just put like, cute little funny things on there. And for years, I've been sort of enjoying these, right?
Yeah.
It's a welcome change.
Yeah,
No big deal, right? You know who doesn't like it? The federales.
Yeah.
Mayor Pete's Department of Transportation is mad. He wants them to stop doing that. Well, I don't know if it's him, but they
right, yeah.
Maybe Chasten is like, yo, cool it, man. But no, they want him to take
Chill
these
out
things
on
down, man, and just keep them just the facts, ma'am. Here's one from New Jersey. We'll be blunt. Don't drive high. There's another one. Hold on to your butts. Help prevent forest fires.
I'm not mad at these.
That's a good one, right? Texas had a whole ad campaign about like, keep your butts in Texas or whatever.
This one might make you like focus too much on the sign, though.
There was one that said slow down the St. Thunder Road. Did it come with a turn signal?
I'm not mad.
That's good too.
I say the same shit in my own car.
Right. I don't have a problem with any of this. The New Jersey one, slow down the St. Thunder Road, is very good. It's very New Jersey. I think the feds may be getting a little too touchy here.
Yes, states' rights.
Are they too woke? Is that what the word is now?
No, it's not. It's just
they're being unwoke.
It's the federal government, this is not what
being G-men.
We don't need you to be doing this shit.
Yeah. They're being feds. That's what they're doing.
They are being feds.
They're being the boring
feds.
ass feds. Yeah, the feds.
Yeah, when people say you're being the feds, this is exactly
what they mean.
This is exactly.
Now, this is not to say that states should have some rights to do cheeky road signs. That's cool. Yeah. And different license plates.
Whatever.
That's fine or whatever. You want to have a parade and name your state bird after a bird that doesn't exist. That's all fine. But
but all these voting laws and shit like that, yeah, exactly.
Or not let other people vote, or banning women. No, that's not the same kind. States' rights end at road signs. How about that?
Yeah, okay, I can. That's
right.
not-
All right. Dateline, Richmond. Former capital of the Confederacy. It's worth noting that. Why are we noticing?
It's always this shit when my Lincoln book is out. I don't
What-
like this shit.
Why
All
are we
right?
noticing that it's the capital of the Confederacy, Tez?
Oh, because I know this story because I read it.
Yeah.
Actually, I read this story prior to seeing it in there. Some folks is mad that their name got snatched off some shit, right?
And not even his actual name.
Wasn't his name? Yeah,
It's
right.
his mom's family's name, but
Right.
sure. Okay. So
The
T.C.
grandson.
Williams.
Oh, yeah, right.
T.C. Williams, the famous high school in Alexandria,
Yeah.
Virginia. It's named after. It was named after him. Not anymore. The law
That
school.
Jefferson Davis. I had was that there for so long.
It was for so long.
so long.
It was a whole highway
For long.
for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
Well, and it didn't intersect Lee Highway. That was on the other side of the county.
It was on the other side. Yeah.
I grew up right off of Lee Highway.
Look.
I have a hard time with that one. So just how the word goes. All right. Anyway, University of Richmond.
I
Well,
drove south.
that's true. You can do that. Except it's really mostly east and west.
Yeah.
29.
That's right.
Okay. So in any case, there's a guy, his name is Robert C. Smith, who is descendant of T.C. Williams. Now look at
Oh.
him in this picture with his bow tie.
Yeah.
You can tell he's descendant of a slave owner.
Yes, hands down. Southern gentleman.
Yep. Yeah. He leaned
I don't know if
heavily
the
into that.
Virginians could be considered. I'm just joking.
I mean,
They are,
Bobby
they
Lee
are.
and all these guys, Stonewall Jackson.
Shit, George Washington.
Yeah, well,
we can go to.
I'm talking about Confederates.
Oh,
I'm just,
fair. Not the regular.
we've got a lot of them.
Yeah, it's a lot of them.
Sorry about that. We're very sorry about that. Also, like it when the McCain people were like, oh no, we were talking about real Virginia, not Northern Virginia. I was like, I think I live in Arlington County.
Are you serious?
Like
right
it
now?
couldn't be more
What are we
Confederate in
talking
the
about?
name of the county.
Are we
Like
talking? What do you know?
I just didn't want to vote for your. Anyway, okay. So T.C. Williams owned people, not a
Yeah.
thing that you should do.
No.
He donated some money
Look, save
to
both
the
sides.
University of Richmond, or rather his son did, or whatever, donated $25,000 back in the 19th century. It was a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
It was a
back
lot of money. He earned it by owning people,
then. No.
as you do.
Free labor makes
Free
you
labor,
rich.
you can get really rich. Yeah. Well, maybe they were those happy slaves, like
Oh,
the
yeah,
ones
the
in
friendly
Zippity Doodah
immigrants.
or whatever.
Yeah, the friendly immigrants that came here.
So the University of Richmond is like, nah, man, we don't really want this name on our school anymore. We're just going to go back to calling it University of Richmond Law School. And what did Mr. Smith do?
I was going to say something that we shouldn't say any longer, but in his time, he probably would say, so I'll put this in quotes, he became a, quote, Indian giver.
Yeah, basically, he wanted,
End
he
quote.
sued them
He sued them
to
have
get
their
his money back, inflation adjusted, and for,
Oh, my God.
and
Jesus.
and the endowment basically built everything that came after it. So he wants, in exchange for the $25,000 that his great grandfather donated, that he didn't earn, he wants how much?
None of you did. 3.6.
Billion with a B dollars. He wants
You know what it is? You know what it
$3.6 billion dollars.
It's reverse reparations.
That's right. He wants 40 acres and 16,000 mules.
Right, exactly. Exactly. This is-
$3.6 billion. Here's the quote in a 5-page letter sent on January the 30th to the University of Richmond president, Kevin Halleck, who that sounds, I don't know. He said that the decision to, quote, dename the school was shameful. And he called Halleck, here's my favorite one,
Oh, God.
a carpet-bagging weasel.
So, he said, I'm going to tap into he's tapping into the time.
So,
he's
I was raised where carpetbagger was the worst thing you could call
worst thing you
somebody.
can call somebody.
Because they're not legitimate. They don't
Yeah.
come to it's like these people who moved to DC from Wisconsin. They're like, oh, well, I'm a Nats fan. You're a carpetbagger.
But
You don't
where it
belong
really
here.
comes from is coming to the south from the north.
Yep, and we call them carpetbaggers. That's not great.
Yeah.
Quote, since you and your activists went out of your way to discredit the Williams name, and since presumably the Williams money is tainted, demonstrate your virtue and give it all back, he wrote in the letter. I suggest you immediately turn over the school's entire $3.3 billion endowment, To the current descendants of T.C. Williams Sr., not Jr., who didn't own people, and that was one of his compromises. He's like, just name it after the junior. He said the university could write, like it makes any difference.
Yeah.
He said the university could write a note for the remaining $300 million, quote, provided that it is secured by all the campus buildings and all your woke faculty pledge their personal assets and guarantee the note.
Kick rocks barefoot.
Yeah.
That's
He's not going to win.
Yeah, what the fuck do you think you're gonna do?
It's a gift, buddy.
What are you-
Aren't you nominally a lawyer? You're a bad lawyer. I bet Trump would hire you.
Yeah.
You could charge him $3.6 billion. He'll get just as much of it as he will from this
Exactly.
lawsuit. All right, you hear that music? That means we've come to the end of the show. We want to say
Early
thanks.
today.
Yeah, we're sort of on time. Say thanks to Kount Fif and Empuls for stopping by. Let's hope they both win their Grammy. And when they do, they credit us, of course.
You'll take the credit.
Yeah. Thanks to the news for being funny enough that we didn't have to talk about the earthquake or the war in Ukraine or like any of the other stuff.
That just started getting sad.
Yeah. Thanks to our radio partners, Stitcher, Spotify, Radio Free Europe, all those guys. Thanks to NOTN for keeping us on for another week, we assume. No idea. Thanks to our
Twice a week.
digital media bonbon, Isaac Elam, and thanks to our home on the interwebs, CopleyMedia.com. And thanks, as always, to our family here at Beltway Radio for making us sound as smooth as Nikki Haley's upcoming campaign. All right, where can everybody get you on the socials? Is
Not in the state of Florida because they ban books.
That's right.
And
and black people.
black people. Yeah,
That's right.
Well,
You
that's
can't
right.
have history. Live in the moment.
You just look.
What happened to you yesterday? It's Florida. I can't talk about it. Black history.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at DC Cortez. You can find me on Instagram at Catch 'em Cordy. I'm trying to remember these things.
That's
because I
true.
don't remember them. Yeah.
And you can find him in a bookstore being a nerd.
Yeah, I probably will be in the bookstore somewhere, giving a head nod to John Dooley.
There you go. Friend of the show. Come on. You're supposed to get him. That was your assignment like 6 months ago. Okay. You can find me in the show on Twitter at ChipChatRR. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram at RibChipChat. And you can, of course, find us every Thursday night here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I'm Chip. That says you've been listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and Beyond.
Street balls.